I always wondered why Boruto does not unlock any abilities of Momoshiki. I even had a video planned on this topic, but then I stumbled upon this comment which talks about the possibility of Momoshiki actually being Shibai or Otsutsuki, and the reasoning of this theory is pretty mind-blowing. In the recent chapter, the monster claimed that Otsutsukis who turn into gods can manipulate the minds of people, while in episode 65, he refers to himself as a god. Boruto also looks similar to Shibai whenever the demon takes him over. So is there actually any chance for Momoshiki being Shibai in disguise? Let us dig deep into this breathtaking possibility. Shout out to Dorian for coming up with this amazing theory, and let's begin. The very first hint suggesting the possibility of Momoshiki being Shibai stems from the fact that his physical body did not touch Boruto when he gave him the karma. It was apparently his spirit who stopped time and took him to a chakra dimension to give him the karma. But what if this spirit was actually an imposter? This Momoshiki who's residing inside Boruto could be different than the one who devoured the planet. Let me explain. When the monster was defeated by Boruto, we saw his jogan getting activated. The ghost of the Otsutsuki later appeared in his base form to make Boruto his vessel rather than the fused form. Well, what if this chakra dimension where Boruto was karmified could be the higher plane of existence that Amado was talking about, and this Momoshiki who gave Boruto the karma could be an impersonator? Let me explain why. We know that in order for an Otsutsuki to make someone his vessel, the victim must be in really close proximity, similar to how Ishiki gave his karma to Kawaki. The only problem in Boruto's case is that he received the karma after killing Momoshiki, which shouldn't be technically possible. Furthermore, he did not even touch Boruto prior to his death, which makes all of this a lot more confusing. How was Momoshiki as a spirit able to grant Boruto the karma? And why was the jogan active the entire time during this spectacle? Well, what if I told you the Momoshiki who gave Boruto the karma was actually Shibai in disguise? The very first hint to prove this theory comes from the Japanese meaning of Shibai, which refers to a play or dramatic performance. What if Boruto was being played by Shibai the whole time, as the divine being might have disguised himself as Momoshiki to dwell inside Boruto? Remember when Amado was mentioning the story of his daughter alongside how he created those powerful cyborgs almost 12 years ago? Boruto mentioned he was born around the same time, so what if the birth of Boruto had taken place at the exact moment when Shibai ascended to a higher realm, leaving his mortal body behind that was later found by Amado? He could have arrived on the planet for some reasons, and it's very likely that the people of Earth must have sensed his divine presence. The only reason they do not remember him could be because he erased their memories with omnipotence before ascending. This explains why Momoshiki said Otsutsuki gods have rewritten humanity's history before. There is an interesting take on this detail, and I will get to that in a moment. Coming back to the original theory, Kawaki being the vessel of Ishiki was able to manifest his dojutsu as well as many other vital powers. But Boruto did not inherit any major ability of Momoshiki such as the golden Rinnegan. The interesting part is that Momoshiki has referred to himself as a god after giving Boruto the karma. Toneri also said that soon the gods are gonna land on planet Earth. Some people thought he was referring to Otsutsukis here, but in his conversation with Urashiki, he refers to him as a celestial being rather than a god. So why would Toneri refer to somebody from his own clan as god? And whom was he referring to when he said Earth will be devoured by these deities? Could one of them be Shibai, who has given Boruto the karma while falsely appearing as Momoshiki? The possibility of the Otsutsuki spirit coming back to grant the killer with the karma has been debunked 2 times in the series after the Momoshiki incident. Firstly, when Kawaki outsmarted Ishiki and made him give his karma to a shadow clone. If we go by the logic of Boruto's case, Ishiki's spirit should have went to Kawaki instead of Code for the purpose of giving him the karma. Moreover, when Urashiki was killed by Boruto and Naruto's father son Rasengan, even he did not come back as a spirit to give them his karma. This only proves that Momoshiki's incident with Boruto was not only unusual but also impossible. It's further proven when Momoshiki helped in restoring Boruto's damaged organs, which in my opinion can only be done by a divine being. Not only that, he even has the knowledge of every single shinjutsu in the universe, as well as the power to see people's fate. In chapter 79, he said Otsutsukis who turned into gods have manipulated the history of humanity multiple times. How was he able to get this information when he couldn't even figure out what happened to Kaguya earlier in the series? This could only mean one thing. The Momoshiki who first appeared in the series is totally different than the one who's possessing Boruto. The new Momoshiki Momoshiki is a lot more smarter and knowledgeable, while the old Momoshiki died to set all of this up. If he actually turns out to be the Otsutsuki god, that would explain why Boruto grows the horn similar to Shibai. It could be that when Boruto used the gigantic Rasengan on the real Momoshiki, the activation of Jogan took him to the higher plane of existence, where he met Shibai, who disguised himself as Momoshiki. We have seen the Jogan using abilities to travel between dimensions before, so it's definitely a possibility. Some other interpretations of Shibai's name turns out to be false or untrue. So what if some other things that he said to Boruto are fabricated as well, from impersonating as Momoshiki to regarding himself as an Otsutsuki while talking about those beings who had turned into gods? Why would he regard himself as a god at the beginning of the series, and now he speaks like he's nothing like that? It could be that he's lying to the audience to take our attention away from these major details. I further dig deep to analyze the speech pattern used by Momoshiki before and after his death. It turns out that the real Momoshiki used to cut his conversations short. He was just a spoiled privilege who recklessly devoured the planet without thinking of the consequences. The fact that he had no knowledge of Kaguya, but this version of him who's inside of Boruto knows very well about the time when omnipotence was used on humanity before is really mind-blowing. Let's say it's actually Shibai who's possessing Boruto's body in the name and face of Momoshiki. What purpose could he fulfill through a boy whose destiny is full of despair and darkness? I have a really cool theory to explain this, so make that sub button disappear and hear me out. Have you ever wondered what possibly could Momoshiki do after taking full control of Boruto's body? His initial goal was to revive, but now it's to become Boruto himself, and it seems like he knew about all of this. The Blue Eyes prophecy was told in chapter 10, and it was fulfilled in chapter 79. Still, Momoshiki tried to take his revenge whenever he got his hands on Boruto's consciousness. This means he knew all of it from the beginning, just because he's actually an Otsutsuki god known as Shibai, who has made the consciousness of Boruto his new home. The entity has promised to become Boruto once he loses everything, but we shouldn't forget the Jogan has also been prophesied to awaken after Boruto loses everything. So what if this imposter who's living inside of Boruto will actually turn out to be a good part of his fate? I'm not saying the whole Naruto Kurama thing will happen in Boruto. It could be that Momoshiki will soon reveal his true identity as Shibai, along with the purpose for which he chose Boruto. He might clarify to him that the shocking twists and turns in his destiny were meant to make him stronger as a person. That's why he was made to witness something that no one else could bear. To honor the endurance that was reflected in his personality, he would be given the Jogan in the most amazing way possible. I think Momoshiki or Shibai, whatever you call him, will convert his whole consciousness into a dojutsu that will then manifest as the Jogan in Boruto's right eye. This will completely erase his existence from Boruto's body. That's why in the future, the conflict is on the fate of shinobis rather than the current obsession of Kawaki to see Boruto dead. I also came up with a darker version of this theory. If Momoshiki is truly Shibai, could be that he wants to consume even more chakra fruits to become an even stronger Otsutsuki god. Fact that these fruits are physical objects and cannot be consumed by divine beings like Shibai makes it even more plausible. His purpose could be to transcend beyond his current form, which resides in a fourth dimension. By becoming an Otsutsuki again, he could devour planets for another millennium to become a fifth or sixth dimension being. In other words, the purpose of Otsutsuki gods could be to keep evolving into more powerful multidimensional beings, similar to how Otsutsukis are only determined to gain power, which is not even a priority of the ones who evolved into divine beings. The manifestation of the Jogan could be a sign of Shibai's essence getting overly released into Boruto's body. He could then somehow figure out to use the pure eye in his own favor to heal the ailments of his destiny, like reversing the effects of Aida's omnipotence and finding out the reality of humanity's connection with Otsutsukis. I will cover some more mind-blowing theories really soon, including the ones where Boruto could become a time traveler, along with cracking the reality of the Uzumaki clan. So subscribe to not miss them and check out these videos for some even more interesting stuff. I will see you next time.